Karoline Leavitt stood confidently at the podium in the Washington, D.C. briefing room. The room was packed with journalists, and cameras lined the back wall, recording her every word and movement. As the press secretary, Karoline was used to difficult questions, but today felt different. There was an unusual tension in the air. She began the press conference smoothly, answering questions about tax cuts and education reform with well-rehearsed responses. Karoline was a professional who knew how to control the message and handle the press. But everything changed when one particular reporter spoke up. This reporter, a woman in her mid-30s with sharp eyes and a determined attitude, was known for being aggressive and pushing for controversy. She asked if the administration's policies were intentionally designed to hurt certain communities. Karoline responded that the administration's focus was on helping all Americans, regardless of background. The reporter wasn't satisfied with this answer. She pressed harder, interrupting Karoline and demanding a simple yes or no. Other journalists in the room exchanged uncomfortable glances. Some looked intrigued by the growing confrontation, while others seemed uneasy. The room fell silent as everyone waited to see what would happen next. Karoline tried to maintain control of the situation. She pointed to another journalist to move on, but the aggressive reporter interrupted again, asking why it was so hard for Karoline to give a straight answer. A hint of irritation flickered across Karoline's face. She knew reporters had a job to do, but there was a difference between seeking accountability and turning an event into a personal performance. The back and forth continued, growing more tense with each exchange. The reporter accused the administration of being afraid of transparency. Karoline responded that the reporter wasn't interested in transparency, but in creating drama. Cameras captured every moment, every facial expression, every shift in body language. The confrontation was exactly the kind of content that would spread quickly on social media. Eventually, Karoline had enough. She glanced towards security at the side of the room, a subtle signal that didn't need words. The reporter noticed this too, but instead of backing down, she doubled down. "You're seriously doing this?" she asked, her voice sharp enough for everyone to hear. A security officer stepped forward, making it clear that the reporter had two choices: calm down or leave. She chose to make a scene, gathering her things while declaring, "This is a disgrace." Before walking out, she delivered one final jab. "You can kick me out, but you can't silence the truth." After the reporter left, the press conference continued, but the damage was already done. By the time Karoline stepped off the podium, her phone was buzzing constantly. Her staff informed her that clips of the incident were spreading rapidly online. Hashtags like #sign silencing the press were trending, and the reporter was already giving interviews on major networks. The reporter portrayed herself as a victim, claiming she was removed simply for asking tough questions. She called it a chilling moment for press freedom and warned that it should alarm every American who believes in accountability. She conveniently left out how she had repeatedly interrupted and disrupted the entire event. Karoline and her team had to decide how to respond. They chose to release the full, unedited footage of the exchange with a simple title: "Watch for Yourself," the full exchange between Karoline Leavitt and reporter at today's press conference. They wanted people to see exactly what had happened without commentary or editing. The country quickly divided along predictable lines. Conservative media praised Karoline for standing her ground against what they called an activist posing as a journalist. Liberal outlets painted her as an authoritarian figure silencing legitimate questions. Social media exploded with memes and heated debates, each side convinced they were right. Days passed, and the story refused to die. Talk shows hosted panel discussions analyzing every second of the exchange. Opinion pieces argued both sides. In the midst of all this noise, a respected veteran journalist finally spoke up on a panel. He pointed out that this wasn't a case of a journalist seeking truth, but someone deliberately creating conflict to get attention. The moment she got removed, she ran straight to the cameras claiming victimhood, he said. "That's not reporting, that's activism." Karoline knew the damage was already done. People who wanted to believe she was suppressing free speech wouldn't change their minds, no matter what evidence they saw. Those who supported her had already moved on to the next political battle. When offered more interview opportunities, Karoline declined. "I'm not playing into this any further," she told her aide. "The facts are out there. Let people decide for themselves." For her final statement on the matter, Karoline simply said 4 words: "Watch the full video." She believed the truth was there for anyone who genuinely wanted to see it. This incident highlighted bigger issues in modern media. In a world where attention and clicks matter more than accuracy, the line between real journalism and attention-seeking behavior has become increasingly blurred. Media integrity is fragile when dramatic headlines get more attention than thoughtful reporting. The real question isn't just whether Caroline was right or wrong, but whether our society values truth enough to recognize when we're being manipulated by those who claim to inform us.